Let the bacon masterclass begin. Chef Tjaart, Chef Tumi, good to see you.
Oh, fabulous to be here. And now we are talking my ultimate favorite bake in the entire world, which is brioche.
Okay.
It's the two of us.
I think when Tjaart goes, right at the beginning, you know it's on. And he's almost doing this with his voice. Okay, let's get down into it, guys. This is for special occasions.
This definitely is, you could call it for special occasions, but I feel like any normal human being needs to know this, Chef. You're going to be making something luxurious, a brioche dough, a brioche bun. But with that dough, we'll be able to create something even more luxurious. We've got some cinnamon rolls here that we're going to be making in 3 different ways.
What's a brioche?
Absolutely. So basically, brioche is an enriched dough. Enriched in terms it has a very high fat content.
Okay.
So we've got milk, eggs, and a lot of butter that goes into it.
Of course.
Now, I actually have a recipe that literally 60% of the recipe or the dough base is fat content.
Wow.
Let me tell you, this is ultimate. And when it bakes, it starts to get this wonderful golden hue on the outside. It wafts through. So, South Africa, for those of you who need to impress, and I always say this is when, if you need to impress your better half in any other way, there's nothing better than waking up with the smell of brioche wafting through the house from the oven that you've prepared the day before. So, actually, you should be all join us in actually baking this today.
Let's learn.
You can have it tomorrow. So it's basically a dough to start off with. So your flour, your regular cake flour is absolutely fine.
Okay.
And then to that, your salt. Always salt, very important, it brings out flavor. Then yeast, and always remember, my golden rule is always your yeast at the opposite end of the bowl to that.
And the flour's at room temperature?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because flour would be, right?
Good. And then in with some sugar as well. So this is going to be a slightly sweeter note, which is very typical of brioche. Brioche has a wonderful sweetness to it, which obviously is accompanied and enhanced further by the butter.
Okay.
So you've got that content into it as well.
Chef, I see you've chosen white sugar. Would it make a difference if you were to use any other type of sugar, or is it? You
can do again. Remember, you start changing it. Once you can bake with honey, but honey has a whole different crystal structure. It does change the dough, but a brown sugar will work equally as well. So those are dry ingredients which we just need to sort of quickly mix together and then create a well in the center. And to that, we're going to add in some warm milk. Now, this is going to activate the yeast. We want to wake up those little yeasties that are sleeping there and get them sort of, breathing and creating bubbles in there.
What I want you to tell me is there a reason you're going with that first, with the milk first?
No. So literally, I've done dry ingredients, then these wet ingredients, and this will then create a dough ball in essence, all right? So this you just keep sort of mixing until it all comes together, and then it looks like this.
That's going to be a lot of mixing.
So that will all come together once it's all mixed together. Oh, by the way, the machine works very well to make this kind of dough, and it does make a huge difference using machine, because if you're like me, I really survive hot hands. And it's like hot heart, I would say.
No, it's hard to do both.
But I have hot hands, and this is one of those things you cannot really do by hand by any means, because the butter's just going to melt.
Not even you, Auntie Patricia, not even you.
So in there, you end up with this lovely dough that you can see that's together, that we've allowed to sort of rest for a little bit. And to that, and this is when you need to think there's a machine going along the way, and then you're going to start adding a block of butter, and then start working that in there.
And we're being generous with the butter.
Well, all of that butter is going to go into that dough there. So you're going to keep working that, and this is, where the mixer really comes into play. Oh, you're really making me work here, guys. What's going on?
Chef, I just want to know, because I know a lot of people are also looking at plant-based alternatives. So in an instance like this, where they still want to get that richness from a brioche dough, would we be able then to substitute perhaps the butter for a coconut oil, perhaps? And what then would we perhaps be able to use for the eggs? Because you still want that richness, but then, it's different because of the flavors.
I'm going to draw the line now. I'm usually quite, diplomatic and sympathetic. This is one of those alternatives. You don't change it. Well, there is no alternative, really, at the end of the day.
To me, as just being one of those students in class who will ask the most difficult and complicated.
I'm also I agree with Chef. There's certain things where you want to be a purist because you want the end product to actually still maintain that,
Yeah, I mean, this really is something that it's about the butter makes it at the end of the day. And then once that's mixed into a lovely dough, you have this that's then proved and doubled in size.
After how long?
Okay, about 1.5, 2 hours, depending on how hot the milk was.
Okay.
Depends on how hot the environment is. And then from there, once it's risen, it can go into the fridge and then stop the actual raising of the dough. It needs to go and sleep. And this is what's then perfect. You then put it into your loaf tin and you pop it in the fridge at night. And then in the morning you wake up, nice and early, you tiptoe downstairs.
Or you're going
and
like this,
slide this into the oven. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Slide it into the oven and then bake it and let that sort of wafting come through the house. 180 degrees is what you need to do for that loaf tin there.
Did you see how simple it was just to cut through all of that? It's like a knife through
It's going to have a wonderful soft crumb. This brioche, as I said, is enriched, but it's a lovely, soft, delicate crumb. When it comes out on the outside, there's a really golden hue on the outside, like really golden brown, and the inside is this beautiful yellow enriched
paper towel, please.
And it is such a great dough to use because not only can we use it in cinnamon buns like we've done here, but you can actually just have it as either rolls, you can have it as a bread, you can have
Absolutely.
it as...
And this now, let me tell you, freezes well. So in my house, I actually have 3 or 4 of these in the freezer ready to go at any stage. So when I want to sort of, do a bit of impressing or get out the good old dog box, all you do is you can pop that out. But what we're going to be doing is taking the same dough and actually creating these cinnamon rolls as well. But I said this with flavor inside it. I mean, when I put it into a loaf tin, imagine open it in half and then line some chocolate pieces in there. So when you cut through it, you got chocolate brioche. Or as I said, some little bit of orange zest into here would work equally as well. Or what we're going to do here is we've got lots of different things to go into our roll that we're going to make in a bit.
I love it. You can go wild with it. You can take it to town. But now we're giving away something special here. It's a baking kit to the value of 1,500 Rand. And it's pretty simple. What you need to do is take a selfie of yourself watching Afternoon Express and then share it on Afternoon Express's Facebook, Twitter or Instagram. And this competition will close pretty soon, so you want to make sure that you get your hands on that one. Remember to use that hashtag Afternoon Express. But yo, I know, it's a party.